Namaste. Welcome to Mind Body Strength Online Yoga. I'm Jo, and we're back again with another yoga session. And today we're going to start out rather slowly. Um, while this class is appropriate for everyone, it's particularly helpful for beginning yoga students. So let's come sitting in Sukhasana, comfortable seated position, preferably on the front edge of a folded blanket. And this will enable you to maintain the natural curves of your spine and to breathe more easily. So let's talk a little bit about what yoga means today and why people take it. Most people consider yoga as just another form of exercise, and they join yoga classes in order to improve their flexibility, strengthen and tone their muscles, their bones, improve their balance. I actually started yoga about 25, maybe a little longer than that, years ago because I had lower back problems. I had pain and discomfort, especially riding in a car for long distances. And when I started a regular yoga practice, I found that pain went away. But the yoga postures that we do, down dog and tree pose and sun salutations, really didn't have any part in the early stages of yoga. Yoga, about 5,000 years old, was originated by Hindus, and they practiced in order to find the meaning of life, what life was all about, what are the real truths. And in order to concentrate on these issues, they developed techniques such as meditation and pranayama to help them avoid the distractions that would keep them from concentration. Now, these early yogis, especially the Hindus, yoga originated in India, and the Hindus were really seeking to find union with the divine, to be part of a greater union with whatever version of the divine people are attracted to. And so while it began with the Hindu religion, the techniques that they developed, the meditation, the breathing exercises, were so effective that the practice was adopted by other religions, the Buddhist, the Sikhs, the Jainism, and gradually other religions as well. And of course, today yoga is practiced by people of many different religions or no religion at all. So you can use yoga only for exercise and relaxation, or you can use it as a spiritual practice. A lot of different things to take from it, and it's all up to you. So this class is going to focus primarily on yoga postures and breathing, but from time to time I will introduce maybe some yoga philosophy or guidelines as well. So today I'd like to introduce you or reintroduce you to a Sanskrit term called ahimsa. And ahimsa means nonviolence. It also means non-harming. It's one of the first guidelines, well, it is the first guideline in yoga principles. And these principles are called yamas. And they're basically things that you should avoid doing. So ahimsa means that we don't want to do anything in our actions or words, or even our thoughts, to harm other people. So maybe just simply put, it's being kind and thoughtful and compassionate. But the word ahimsa doesn't just apply to our treatment of others, it applies to how we treat ourselves. And sometimes we're harder on ourselves than we are on other people. But what it means for your yoga class is that in doing the yoga postures, you honor your present limits, whatever they are, and you do yoga in a way that is safe for your body. So we never strain in yoga, we never force a pose. We do our movements by relaxing into the postures and not forcing them. Other guidelines for yoga are to avoid doing postures after a meal. Generally, the guidelines are about 4 hours after a heavy meal or 2 hours after a light meal or snack. That gives your food time to digest. So we'll practice ahimsa as we go through the yoga postures in this class. Now, one of the things that we can do to make yoga postures safe and more enjoyable, and in some cases actually doable, is to use props. And one of the most important props is a firm folded blanket, like the one I'm sitting on, or the extra one that I have right here. So it's folded several times to make a nice firm seat. And as I said, it's important to sit forward of your sitting bones. It helps you maintain your natural curves. A yoga block is also very helpful, and we can use this in several different ways. If, for example, your knees don't come down to the floor and it's uncomfortable to sit this way, you can prop a knee up with a block. We can even sit on a block. We can use it in poses like bridge pose to put under the back as we're lying on the ground for a little more support. So blocks are a very handy thing to have. I don't have one handy right now. I thought I did. Oh, yes, I do, right in front of me. Okay, a strap. A yoga strap also. We won't use these in every class, but these are also handy for different poses. Maybe holding on as you stretch back and forth, or trying to bring your hands together behind your back for a cow's head pose. A strap is valuable for that kind of action. And we can also use walls and chairs as props. So, for example, if you have osteoporosis and you've been advised not to go deep into a forward bend, you can do a pose using the chair instead of the floor. All right, so I think that's about it, and I think we can begin our class now, and we'll begin with pranayama. And pranayama, a Sanskrit word, and prana means breath. It also can mean energy and life force. Yama means management and control. So normally we don't pay any attention to our breath. It happens automatically. But in yoga, we use the breath. We notice it. And there are a number of breathing techniques that we'll learn, not in this particular class, but in some of the other ones. So let's make sure the posture is correct. We're sitting tall. Feel the natural curves of your spine. So lift your gaze slightly, just beyond the point between the eyebrows, as though you're gazing at the peaks of a just distant mountain behind closed eyes. And then just slowly begin to take full deep breaths. And notice what parts of your body expands as you breathe in, and feel where your body relaxes and contracts as you breathe out. Slow, even breathing. And notice where the breath starts. A lot of people like to do belly breathing, where they feel the breath starting in their belly, but of course, your belly doesn't have lungs in it, so there's really not any breath going in there. we do have a dome-shaped organ called the diaphragm here that separates the pelvic area from the rib cage. And when you breathe in, that diaphragm flattens, but the air doesn't go into your belly. So I like to focus more on the rib cage, because the rib cage is a home for your lungs and your other organs as well. So why don't you put your hands on the side of your rib cage above the waist, with your fingers forward, your thumbs back. And now continue taking deep breaths and feel the ribs expand on your inhalation and then contract on your exhalation. Just continue the breath. And now take your hands and move them to your back ribs and continue slow, deep breathing. Feeling the back ribs expanding and relaxing. You might even feel it more in the back ribs because 60% of your lungs are in the back body. All right, let's relax for a moment. Let our natural breath return. And we'll begin some warm-ups to prepare our body for the yoga postures, or asanas, as they're called in Sanskrit, that we're going to be doing. So let's begin with a few shoulder rolls, just bringing the shoulders forward and then up and back and down, and a couple more times. And now go in the other direction. Should be nice and easy. And now go ahead, and we're going to turn our head from side to side. So bring your chin back, make sure it's level with the ground, and take a breath in. And on your exhalation, turn your head to look over your left shoulder. I'll be mirroring you here. And then inhale, bring it back to center. And then exhale, turn the head looking over the right shoulder and back to center. And on the exhale, head goes left again. Hold it here. Take a breath or two. And then see if you can turn your head
I found
just
this
a
for you.
little further. And then come back to neutral. And now turn your head to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Hold and breathe. And then back to neutral and pause. And now we'll stretch the back of the neck. So go ahead and drop your head down about halfway and fold your fingers, place them on the back top of your head. Let your elbows drop toward the ground, and don't press your head down. Just stay here for a few breaths and let gravity and the weight of your hands and elbows help you relax the back of your neck. One more breath. And then remove your hands and slowly lift your head back up to neutral and take a deep breath. And now we'll stretch the sides of the neck. So we'll do ear to shoulder. Again, keep sitting tall and take a breath in. And then exhale and just slowly bring your head down to your left shoulder. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. And now slowly bring your chin down towards your chest very easily until you feel a stretch in the right side of the neck, or the stretch you already felt gets more intense. Now don't go to the point of pain, and just stay here and breathe. And now on your inhalation, slowly lift the chin back up, turn your head back to neutral, and pause and breathe. And now right ear to shoulder, so drop the right ear toward the shoulder. Keep both shoulders relaxed. Stay here for 2 breaths. And as you did on the other side, slowly lower your chin down towards your chest until you feel a more intense stretch on the left side of the neck. And hold it here, breathing. And then slowly lift your chin back up. Turn your head back to center and pause and notice how you're feeling. And now let's stretch our legs out in front. So we'll come into staff pose. So you've already done 2 yoga poses, Sukhasana, simple sitting pose, and staff pose. So press your legs into the floor and go ahead and press your hands into the floor to keep your spine long. And then go ahead and wiggle your toes. And then just flap your feet a few times. We're just warming up the feet and ankles. And then circle the ankles. And go in the other direction. And now let's slide forward off the blanket we're sitting on. Come down and rest on the forearms. And we're just going to do some bicycling to warm up the legs. So just nice and easy, riding a bicycle. And you can ride it up the hill if you like. And back down. And now ride it backwards. And bring your feet to the floor. And let's come over onto our hands and knees into cat pose. So fingers are facing forward, knees are under the hips, hands under the shoulders, and press down on the base of your thumb and forefinger to take some of the pressure off of your wrists. And now take a deep breath in and exhale, drop your head, inhale again, and this time on the exhalation, pull your abdominal muscles in tight as you tuck your tail, bringing your pelvis forward, and feel your upper back rising. And then inhale, relax the belly, sitting bones now lift, and bring your chest forward, look forward. And then exhale, and again, pull the abdominal muscles in, bring the pelvis forward, tucking the tail, the upper back rises, you're in flexion. And then as you inhale, the belly relaxes, let the sitting bones lift, coming into extension. And one more, exhale, belly in. Tuck the tail, head down, and then inhale, coming back into the arching position, and now come back to neutral, and just pause for a moment, and now we're going to come to standing. So come up on your fingertips, bring one foot forward, turn the other foot under, step forward. You're in a forward bend, and slowly slide your hands up to your thighs above the knees, press into the thighs, and come up to standing. Come up to mountain pose, and breathe. Now in mountain pose, you want to first adjust your stance so that your feet are paced at a comfortable distance where you feel stable and grounded like a mountain, but you also are able to feel energy flowing up like a mountain reaches toward the sky. So you can play around with your foot position, maybe move it a little farther away, see how that feels. Or you can bring your feet closer together, maybe with your big toes touching and your heels out just a little. Now, for me, I don't feel quite as stable with my feet that way. I like them about hip width apart. So I'm going to move mine about hip width apart. And we want our feet to be parallel. And generally, it's better to have the outside of the feet more parallel with the edge of the mat than the inside. And to some of you, that might feel a little funny because many of us, myself included, if I'm not thinking about it, tend to turn our feet out. But in order to have good alignment between your hip socket and your thighs, they really need to be turned in just a little bit. So we want to stand tall. Imagine a string on the top of your head pulling you up. And then relax your shoulders, bring your chin back just a little. And then check to make sure you're not tucking your tailbone under. Now, I have had some yoga teachers tell me in mountain pose to tuck my tail to protect the back, but actually your back, the rest of your body is most stable when it's in its natural curves. If you tuck the tail, then you're going to flatten that curve in the back. We don't want to do that. We want to maintain the natural curves. So don't tuck and bring your thighs back just a little. And if you felt a little taller after you did that, you may have been tucking. So we'll stand in mountain pose, standing tall. And there's an affirmation that goes with this pose. Now, Ananda Yoga, where I was trained, uses affirmations for a number of the different poses. And an affirmation is simply a positive statement that helps you feel the effect of a pose. And affirmations also can kind of help if we have kind of negative tapes going around in our mind that are sometimes directed toward ourselves, like, ooh, I'll never be able to do this pose. Well, this one everyone can do, I think. All right, so the affirmation is, I stand ready to make positive changes in my life. I stand ready to make positive changes in my life. So another breath. And then we'll come into tall mountain. So for tall mountain, you simply raise your arms and just stretch them up as high as you can, getting a good stretch. Your feet stay planted. Weight pretty evenly distributed, but maybe a little more on the heels. And just stretch tall, and then you can bring your hands together if you like in upward salute. And we can interlace our fingers, turn the palms up, stretch a little more, and then we'll lean just a little from side to side. So inhaling and exhale, lean to the left, not too far, just enough to get a little stretch in the right side of the body. And then inhale back up and exhale, lean to the right and back to center. And then go ahead, circle your arms back down, close your eyes, and just rest for a moment in mountain pose. Now we're going to be doing a forward bend shortly, but let's get prepared for that by using a chair. And if you don't have a chair handy, you can also use the wall. So what I'm going to do here is do what's called a half down dog using the chair. So I'm standing here with my fingertips on the chair. I'm stepped back a little bit from the chair. And now I'm going to take more steps and I'm going to go all the way back as far as I can and just press the hips back and just really get a good stretch through the arms and through the legs. And then just stay here for a couple of breaths. Now this is a good substitute for forward bend to the floor, especially if you have osteoporosis and don't want to bend the spine too much. So let's inhale and step on back. I'm going to put the chair by the side now. And now that we've gotten our back prepared, we'll do a forward bend. And I'm going to use a block for this forward bend. And that will keep me from going too far and causing discomfort or pain in my low back. So when we do a forward bend, we always bend from the hip crease, never from the waist. And we'll go down with a long spine. And what we want to do is kind of bring our belly down over the thighs. So think of lifting your pelvic region and then dropping it towards your thighs. And don't force or strain. Make sure that your feet again are parallel. And let's inhale first, hands by the thighs, and then exhale. Come forward, bringing your belly down over your thighs, and then you can let your hands or fingers rest on the block. And just notice what kind of sensation you're feeling, especially in the back body. This pose is intended to strengthen the legs, to stretch the muscles of the legs. And as long as you're feeling that stretch in the center of the muscles and not in the joints, you're fine. If you're having any lower back pain, please come up a bit and take a couple more breaths. And then if everything feels right, no discomfort in your lower back, you can go a little further. So inhale, lengthen, exhale. You can either put the block on a lower level, or if your back permits, you can come all the way down. But if there is lower back discomfort, please do not come any further. So we hold here, breathing. And if everything still feels right, take a deep breath in and exhale. Now you can relax into the pose. Let everything just hang. You should feel your sitting bones lifting. No pain in the low back. Breathe. And the affirmation is, nothing on earth can hold me. Nothing on earth can hold me. And then slide your hands up your shins, press into your thighs, and come back up and stand in mountain pose and just breathe. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And notice how you're feeling. Okay, now we're going to do a side bending pose called triangle pose, and I'm going to use a block for this pose as well. So for triangle pose, I'm going to stand on the long length of the mat, and we're going to step our feet apart. If it's comfortable, try for about one leg length, but that's just a general rule. If that doesn't feel right for your body, then you can have your legs closer, or if it inhibits your balance at all. So we're going to turn the front foot out, the right foot, and the back foot in, and check to see that the heel of the front foot is in line with the arch of the back foot. I'm going to put my block just a bit behind my ankle. And now we inhale, we reach the arms out and stretch. And then exhale, stretch that front arm forward as you bend the back hip and bring your fingers to the block. Your other hand reaches straight up to the ceiling and keep your legs activated. Pull the muscles in toward the bones. Keep your feet pressing to keep you stable in this pose. If you like, you can turn your head and look up at your hand. But if that bothers your neck at all, just look forward. Hold here, breathing, and affirm. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. And to come out, just reach your top arm up and just bring yourself back up. Turn your feet forward, lower your arms, and just stay here for a breath or two. Again, noticing how you're feeling, any sensations in your body. And now we'll do triangle pose to the other side. So you can move your block. And again, make sure that the heel of the front foot is lined up with the arch of the back. And you can turn that front foot out just a little more. That will keep your knee from rolling in as you do this. We don't want the knee to roll in. That can cause injury. So let's inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, stretch now through the left arm, bending at the right hip, and bring the fingers down on the block. Again, keep the legs active, feet pressing into the floor for stability. Breathe smoothly and affirm either mentally or aloud. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. Energy and joy flood my body cells. Joy descends to me. And now inhale and stretch up. Turn your feet forward and step back to mountain pose. And pause and focus on your breath. All right, now we're going to do a gentle back bending pose called Warrior One. So we're going to come standing at the top of the mat in mountain pose. We begin in mountain pose, and we're going to do this as a little bit of a vinyasa at first, and a vinyasa is just putting different movements together rather than doing one at a time and stopping and pausing in between. So shift your weight to your right foot and step your left foot back a comfortable distance. Put your hands on your waist and bring your hips so they're facing forward. And then inhale and reach your arms up. Exhale, bend the knees. Make sure the shin bone is vertical. You can still see your toes. Inhale again. And then exhale, straighten the leg, bring your arms back. And inhale, bend the knee, bring the arms up. Exhale, straighten, bring the arms back. Last time, inhale, arms up. And now we'll stay. So really reach tall. And this is a back bending pose. If it doesn't bother your neck, you can bring your head back. Let your tailbone lift a little bit. And the affirmation, I am free, I am free. I am free, I am free. And then inhale, stretch. Exhale, straighten your leg. And step back to mountain pose. And pause. Notice how you're feeling. Notice any effects of the pose. And we'll do the other side. So shift your weight to your left foot. Step the right foot back. And we'll do the vinyasa again. We square up the hips. Make sure they're level. Inhale, we'll raise the arms. Exhale, bend the front knee, shin bone vertical. Inhale again. And then exhale, straighten the leg, bring your arms back. And inhale, bend the knee, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down. And then inhale again, bring the arms up. We're going to stay now, reaching tall. Again, if it doesn't bother your neck, you can drop your head back. Allow the sitting bones to come up. This is a back bending pose. Be easy with it if you have any spinal issues. A couple more breaths. Affirm, I am free, I am free. I am free, I am free. And then inhale, reach. Exhale, straighten the leg. Bring your feet back together and pause in mountain pose. So the next pose we're going to do is tree pose. And tree pose is a balancing pose. So if your balance tends to be a little wobbly, you might want to have a chair handy or do it near the wall. And I'm actually going to step off my mat for this pose. Now, one thing that helps you stay stable in tree pose is abdominal muscles. So you want to activate your abdominal muscles. In some classes, we do exercises that strengthen the abdominal muscles. So let's go ahead and shift our weight. We'll shift the weight to the right foot. Bring the left foot forward. That tells the abdominals that we're going to need them here. And then you can place the foot on the ankle of the standing leg. Now make sure that standing leg is long and reaching. Make sure the hips are level. If you have good balance, you can lift that foot further up on the leg. I'm going to keep mine where it is. Go ahead, lift arms up, palms touching. Keep reaching. Try to keep the breath smooth and even. And affirm, I am calm, I am poised, I am calm, I am poised. And to come out, inhale, stretch higher. Exhale, arms back by your side. And come back and stand in mountain pose. And again, notice how you're feeling. Notice the effects. And now shift your weight to the left foot. Bring the right foot forward. Again, you can press the foot on the calf or on the thigh. I'm going to keep mine on my ankle. Keep the standing leg strong, hips level. And if you have your balance, lift the arms up, palms touching, or if you like, it can be a different kind of tree and have your arms out to the side. So you can experiment a bit. Slow, deep breath. And affirm, I am calm, I am poised, I am calm, I am poised. And to come out, inhale, stretch your arms. Exhale, slowly bring them back to your side. And bring your feet back to mountain pose. Pause and breathe. Be aware of how you're feeling. And now we're going to go down onto the floor. So go ahead and bend your knees. And come lying on your stomach, on your belly, for Sphinx pose and then Cobra pose. So for Sphinx pose, you want your elbows directly under your shoulders. Your hands will be by your face. I'm going to take my glasses off for this one. So bring your forehead to the floor. And then inhale and slowly lift up. Press your upper thighs into the ground to anchor this pose and just come as far as comfortable. Bring your elbows a little closer to your body. And this is the Sphinx version of Cobra pose. So just take deep breaths. Try to stretch your stomach a little in this pose. And the affirmation, I rise joyfully to meet each new opportunity. I rise joyfully to meet each new opportunity. And inhale, lengthen. And exhale, slowly lower down. And you can turn your head to the side and take a few breaths of rest. And we'll go up now into Cobra pose. So bring your hands by your chest. And then inhale, lift your head, neck, shoulders. Use the muscles in your upper back and shoulders to come up a little higher. Don't go too high if it bothers your back. Hold here, breathing. Inhale, come down again and just rest for a breath or two. And now we're going to come up into high cobra. So hands by the chest, inhaling. Press your hands firmly into the mat. Lift your body all the way up into high cobra. Feel the front of your body stretching. And then press back and come into firm pose. So in firm pose, you're sitting on your heels. Now, if this pose is not comfortable, you can always try rolling a blanket, putting it between your buttocks and your heels. And if that still doesn't work, try sitting on a block and see if that makes the pose accessible. Now, firm pose is a very quiet pose, and it incorporates what's called a mudra, which is a position for your hands. So the hands are sitting on your thighs, palms facing up, and the forefinger and the thumb are touching. So this mudra is called Jnana Mudra, and that means the mudra of wisdom. And in this pose, the index finger symbolizes the individual spirit. The thumb symbolizes the universal spirit. So it means we're all one, all united, all part of this big world, this human race. Lift your gaze. Close your eyes if you like, and affirm, in stillness, I touch my inner strength. In stillness, I touch my inner strength. And now take a breath. Separate your knees. Inhale and exhale. Fold down into child's pose. So for child's pose, if you like, you can fold your arms in front of you, rest your head on your folded arms, or you can bring your arms behind you by your side and come down and rest your forehead on the mat. So do whichever version feels best to you. And stay here and breathe. Especially breathe into the back body. Feel the back lungs expanding. The affirmation is, I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. And to come up, bring your hands by your chest and slowly press yourself back up into firm pose. And then come onto one hip, the other hip, and then come back to sitting on your folded blanket, sitting slightly forward of the folded blanket. And we're going to do a forward bending pose called Janasarasana in Sanskrit, or head to knee pose. So to begin, sit on the edge of the blanket, and let's go ahead and bend the left knee. Bring it forward, and then go ahead and rotate the leg and allow the foot to touch the inner thigh of the other leg. Now, your knee should come fairly close to the floor, and if it doesn't, if it's up in the air like this, take a block or a folded blanket and prop it up. Let it rest on the prop to keep you comfortable in the pose. Now, your right leg, just turn it in a little bit so there's more weight on the big toe side of the foot than the little toe side. And then place your right hand behind you to press down and keep your spine long. And we're going to bend forward over the right leg. And what we want to do when we do that is not round the back to get down there, but inhale, lift the pelvis, and then we'll bring the left arm around and hold on wherever it's comfortable and drop the pelvis over the leg. Now don't force this pose further than it's comfortable for you. And again, take special care of your lower back. This pose has a little bit of a twist in it, as well as being a forward bend. So twists and forward bends together, if you're not careful, can cause problems with the back. So pay attention. Take slow, deep breaths. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And now inhale, lengthen, and if it feels right, lift your pelvis, bring the belly down a little further. You can bring your other arm around. Hold on to the wrist. Move your hands forward if that works for you. Pause here and take a couple more breaths. So you want to feel the stretch generally in the center of the muscles. If you're feeling any kind of tension or discomfort in the knee joint, then you need to let up a little bit. It's fine to stretch muscles. They'll bounce back, but those ligaments under the knees, they are not happy if they're overstretched. So to come out, just draw your hands forward, press yourself up, and come back sitting in staff pose, and pause, and again breathe. And let's do the other side. So we're going to draw the right leg forward and rotate that leg so that the bottom of the foot is close to the other thigh. It doesn't have to be touching. You can adjust it to what meets your level of comfort. And then the front leg, just again roll in a little bit so more of the weight is on the big toe side of the foot than on the little toe side of the foot. And then you can press your right arm into the floor to lengthen you. Inhale, turn slightly towards your left leg and bring your right arm around wherever it reaches as you bring your belly down over the thigh, paying very close attention to how your back feels and making sure there's not a stretch in the joint, in the knee joint. Everything feels good. You can bring your other arm around and hold on to the wrist and take a few breaths. And now, if everything feels right, no discomfort in the low back, and you'd like to go further, inhale, lengthen. And exhale, bring the pelvis a little further. You can move your hands forward if that works for you. Listen to your body signals. Breathe. And affirm left and right and all around. Life's harmonies are mine. Left and right and all around. Life's harmonies are mine. And then come up. And press back up to a seated position. Bring your feet forward. close your eyes and focus on your breath. And now, guess what? It's time for our final pose, which is Shavasana, or final relaxation. So we're going to come lying on our backs, but before we do that, take a moment to see if perhaps there are any props you'd like to gather. I'm going to take a drink of water. I encourage you to bring water with you to class or to drink afterwards so you stay hydrated. So if you have one folded blanket, you can use it as a pillow for your head, or perhaps you have another pillow handy, and if that's the case, maybe you want to cover yourself with the blanket. It's important to stay warm during relaxation pose. If you have two blankets, you can use one as a pillow and one to cover yourself. If you like, maybe it's a good time to put your socks on. And then, whenever you're ready, slide forward. I won't stay down with you, but I'll come down with you to start. So go ahead, bend your knees, and slowly roll down onto your back. Rest your head comfortably. Place a blanket over you if you have an extra one, and then slowly straighten one leg at a time. And then allow your body to soften and relax. So take a moment to press both feet away from you. So you're stretching your legs, and then let both legs relax and roll out to the side. Have your arms away from your body so that there's space in the armpits and space for your ribs to breathe, those ribs that are by the side of the chest. Palms are facing up in a gesture of receptivity. And now take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Another deep breath in and let it go. And now tuck your shoulder blades under a little bit. Let them slide down your back, but don't pinch them together. Keep them broad and wide. And open and close your jaw a few times to relax your strong jaw muscle. And then just wiggle your pelvis area from side to side a little bit to loosen that up. And take another deep breath in and let it go. And now begin to tighten the muscles of your right foot, and then the ankle, the calf, the muscles around the knee, the shin, all the way up to the hips. Hold, breathe, and then all at once let the tension go. And now make a fist with your right hand and tighten the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, all the way up to the shoulder, and then let it go. Tighten the left foot, the left ankle, left calf, around the knee, left thigh, all the way up to the hip, and then let everything go. And now the left hand, the wrist, the forearm, all the way up to the shoulder, and then let everything go. And just let the entire body relax. Bring your awareness to your breath. I'll repeat the affirmation. Bones, muscles, movement, I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, depression, churning thoughts, All these I give into the hands of peace, and relax and rest peacefully for another moment or two. I'll ring the bell to bring you out. And now bring your awareness back to the sensations of your body and gently move your fingers and toes a little bit. Maybe turn your head from side to side. And now inhale the breath and exhale. Press your lower back into the floor. Turn your legs so your knees directly face the ceiling. And then slowly bring one foot toward you and the other foot toward you. Take another breath. And then slowly roll to one side. Rest your head on your folded arm. Stay for a breath or two. And then to come out, take your top arm, press it into the floor, and push yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Back to Sukhasana. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. And now bring your hands to the heart center. Namaste. Thank you for doing yoga with me. I'll see you next time.